Yu-Gi-Oh has a large history of counterfeit cards, so let's talk about them and go over the history over the years. Also, I haven't uploaded to this channel in about 2 years, so if you're watching this, my first experience of fake cards was when I was 12. My mom took me to this sketchy swap meet, and I saw they had Yu-Gi-Oh cards and I begged my mom to buy some, only to get home and realize I now owned the Dark Enchanter instead of Exodia. But I wasn't worried, because he can ruin all of the enemy in 1 second. Counterfeit cards range from pretty awful knockoffs like this to good ones like this. They first appeared right after the official game was released in the US in 2002. They were usually produced in places like China and Southeast Asia and came with very poor translations, which made the early fakes easy to tell and also made them pretty funny as well. They were sold at flea markets and online shops like eBay. They would create fakes more to trick buyers into opening packs or creating starter decks than just buying individual cards, as the individual cards are pretty easy to tell from the real ones. Let's go over some of my favorite early fake cards that I found while researching this video and talk about them for a second. Life point that sorcery that says can make come from one monster.
What do you mean by that?
The sealed right wrist. Not the whole arm, just the wrist. Black Cow's Magician. And the Winged Dragon. Not the Winged Dragon of Ra, just the regular dragon. With Yu-Gi-Oh's continued success and scammers getting better printer technology in the 2010s, counterfeit cards changed significantly. The approach was to make more single cards that could almost perfectly copy rare and expensive cards, which changed from the previous fakes, which were made more for full booster packs or starter decks. The focus was on the holographic pattern, set numbers, correct translation, and the correct font. Thankfully, the struggle was getting the correct cardstock and color accuracy for these years. Some examples of this would be this Dark Magician. It's a million times better than the old fakes we just looked at, but it still had some problems and it had some misspelled words. Modern day counterfeits have gotten significantly better, as you can have the same cards side by side and really not be able to tell a difference. This has not only affected Yu-Gi-Oh, TCGs like Pokemon and One Piece have run into a similar problem with such good fakes on the market. Konami has taken steps to crack down, as they have added UV ink and secret patterns to the cards. Online shops like eBay sadly do still have these cards being pushed out fairly often. You could sell a card without even knowing it's fake yourself with how good they've gotten in the modern day. Here are some modern day examples. This is the Dark Duel Stories Blue Eyes White Dragon, which is a fake card, but it's still in its pack and looks pretty authentic, so you'd have to really know what you're looking for to realize this card's not real. This has led buyers wanting to get their cards authenticated at grading companies like PSA or Beckett. When you spend good money on a piece of cardboard, you'd like to know that it's actually real. A few problems come with this though. Number one, that means the card you wanted to buy is worth sometimes even 10 times more if you want it in a 10 grade. And number two, there are now counterfeit PSA slabs that you have to look out for. So what I like to do personally is I like to submit my own cards so that I know that they're actually authentic. Yes, there's a price that comes with that, but if it's a card going in my collection that I really want to keep, I would rather myself know it's real before I just put a fake card in my binder. There are some ways you can check for fake cards yourself. Some of those would be misspelling, incorrect font, color changes, card dimensions, and the feel of the cardstock. If you are worried about a card, the best course would be to send it into a grading company so a professional can confirm whether it's real or not. Also, if your card gets a grade 10, then you just stonks as well. A gray area with fake cards would be proxy cards. If you don't know what a proxy card is, it's basically a very good fake. They usually are done by people who have the same kind of printer Konami would use and can make them almost perfect. Usually they have some sort of marking to show they are a proxy card, but not all of them. They are made to be a card you can have on your wall without spending a fortune, or a card to add to your deck that is usually expensive as long as the shop or playgroup is okay with proxy cards being used. I personally think proxy cards are awesome. You shouldn't have to spend 10 grand on a DDS Blue Eyes for your wall if you don't have that kind of money. I am against proxy cards, however, that don't have a marking to signify that they are fake. When that happens, it feeds into the whole selling fakes as a real card problem that hurts the buyer, as they have been completely scammed. So what do you do with all this going on? The best course of action is to find reputable sellers that have a history and good reviews with selling TCG online. That could be TCG Player, eBay, even places like Mercari. As long as they have good reputations and good reviews, you should be okay. Don't buy that too good to be true card on Facebook Marketplace or eBay. Chances are it's a fake, especially if they don't have any reviews. Something to bring up also talking about fake cards that are a good thing would be fan-made cards. They aren't real, which is very obvious because they'll have names like Bill Gates. They are meant to be funny or creative and aren't printed, so there isn't a way to be scammed by them. They give artists a way to make cards that Konami will never make, like this card, the Black Land Void Dragon. They also make cards that you can relate to, like this card, Little D. Just kidding, that's a real card. Still applies to me though.
Hey, This is Phil from the Small Wiener Club.
If you have any experience with fake cards yourself, I'd love to know down below. I want to know their name, maybe some of their description, or if you've had any other experience with fake cards in the past. The channel's almost at 1,000 subscribers, so if you like the video, please feel free to subscribe down below, but thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.